Next up, the baseballs are moving differently. The league does not know why. Equally hit, hard hit fly balls are averaging 4 feet of distance less than they were last year. There's more drag, the league knows this, on the baseballs than any year that they've been tracking this in the past decade.
Why? That's the only answer on why. I get it. They figured it out, but why? And they're going to say they're hand stitched, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
did the stitchers didn't change?
They all changed their stitching together?
It's not the same person stitching every ball.
Yeah.
And by the way, baseballs are made in Costa Rica, which is one of the strangest facts of all time. If you ask somebody where a baseball is made, they'd say America, China, Japan, Taiwan. They're made in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably a bunch of people sitting in a room, and I've seen it. They stitch them. Were they told to stitch them a little less loose this year? Sometimes they said balls are juiced a little bit. They're stitched a little bit tighter. Who makes that decision?
Yeah, something's happening at scale, of course, because it's not like just one change on one baseball. So one league source in this story from Cyrus and Evan Drellick said a change in seam width or height is one theory from the league side. Brent Rooker with a quote in this story, I've definitely hit some balls that I thought were going to have a chance, and they've been caught against the wall. Let's go to Andrew McCutcheon, who tweeted about this in reaction to the story. I was told by a rep for MLB that the balls are indeed different this year. They stated higher seams, which produces more drag on baseball, causing baseballs to not travel as far as they should. When asked why, I was told every baseball is hand sewn, so no ball is the same. When I asked if there's something that can be done about correcting the current performance of this year's baseball, I was told there's nothing that can be done about it this season, but they're working hard on getting to the bottom of why the seams are higher.
Okay. They're all hand sewn, which means every ball should be different. It shouldn't be uniform that every ball is not traveling as far, right? Some should be tighter, some should be looser. If they're all hand sewn, and I'm assuming not one person sews all the balls together.
Right.
There's got to be many people because there's how many millions of balls they go through every year.
Correct. Many.
So I just don't understand how they say, yeah, we know this. There has to be something they told them to do differently to make them not go as far.
How about, you want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Hell yeah.
Who are the two biggest contracts that were given out this offseason and the beginning of the season? Position players or pitchers?
Soto and Vlad.
Okay. So now we got to make sure position players' numbers don't go up. So we make the balls a little bit more dead. Back when in 2019, they found that baseballs were completely different. They were made completely different, and the balls were launching out of the ballpark. The year before, who had the largest contracts? Pitchers were being given tons of contracts. To me, probably totally a conspiracy theory, but as contracts ebb and flow, the best way to manipulate that is based on the numbers. Hey, if position players' numbers keep going up and we start attacking, that Juan Soto, Vladimir Guerrero type of offensive numbers, we got to squash that so other guys' numbers can't go up quite as much. You can't tell me this isn't an MLB dictated thing.
That is a wild reason, but it can't be that all of a sudden all the stitchers got together and said, we're going to stitch things differently.
They were told or they changed something. Something was either changed or they were told. That's it.
Right.
It's the only way.
When the balls were changed, it had nothing to do with the stitches. Maybe this year, I haven't seen this year's balls. The balls are stitched the exact same way. That's why it's allowed to be hand stitched. It's what's inside. It's how it's wrapped tighter, looser. That ball is going to go, just not going to go as far. AJ, you can pick up a ball and be like, this ball is rock hard, or this John is soft. So.
No, but what they're saying in this one, though, Kratz, is that the seams are actually higher, and that is the stitched part. They're saying the seams are higher. That's what they said, which then doesn't go 4 feet as far.
Here's the part that I think was just totally off base on the PR side from MLB. So this is what they put out. In terms of outcomes on the field, 2025 remains in line with last year's results. They said home runs per ball in play at 4.2% this year, 4.1% last year. Batting average, very close. Runs per game, right? The counterpoint in the article in The Athletic is great. They're like, okay, let's remove the 2 minor league parks. Because if we're going to make a comp to last year, let's get rid of the two parks that are very, very different and leading to much more offense in one of those parks for sure, right? They said home runs as a percentage of fly balls hit in March, April, and May are at an 8-year low. And 2015 to 2019, there were wild year-to-year swings and drag. And then over the past few years, they bought the ball manufacturer, changed the bounciness of the inner core, and installed humidors in every park. The past 4+ seasons were in a good spot with consistency. And then this year, we're whacked out again. We'll let the scientists.
They knew those minor league parks. They knew the minor league parks were going to inflate offense. And so they made a change. Stop denying it. Just say, you know what we did? We did this. That's it. Don't, oh, there's human error. No way. I don't believe it. Unless you change the size of the actual red stitching on the ball, those people are stitching these balls exactly to specs like they're told.
Agreed. There has to be a reason for it when we're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of baseballs. So none of us are going to act like we're smart enough to understand all of the science of it. We're just reporting on or relaying what the story said.